Hey Chills crew and everyone new, 𝗃𝗃 here, and yes, I'm back at it again with some nail art. I know it's been over 6 months and a lot has happened, but I just want to say I'm back into the rhythm of things and I cannot wait to show you these manicures. So if you do like these kind of videos, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Chills crew, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. So for the color scheme for these manicures, I decided to go something that has some brightness from the summer and then it has some fall tones as well, kind of like a transition type of manicure. So this is 𝘃𝗃𝗒𝙗𝗋 by China Glaze, and it is part of the spring collection from 2015, a while back. It is a yellow leaning green cream, or that's what they're calling it, a cream. It's not really, I don't feel like it's a cream. It's more of like a jelly crelly. It does take 3 coats to reach full opacity, but I just love the squishiness of this and that bright color. And with another China Glaze, this is Good as Marigold, and this is of course from another spring collection. It's the arrangement from 2019 spring collection, in fact. And honestly, I love that collection, but the color here, it screams pumpkin orange, or let's say like a egg yolky kind of color, or maybe even mac and cheese. For me, it did take 3 coats to reach full opacity on a clear nail tip, but you might even get away with just 2 coats on your nail. It just depends on your application. But overall, I feel like this is the quintessential perfect pumpkin orange or fall color. I absolutely love it. And the next China Glaze polish I picked was Planted and Enchanted from another spring collection. It's the Mystic Bloom 2022 collection, and it's so beautiful. It is a kind of like a teal leaning green that has this beautiful blue shimmer running throughout. It normally only takes 2 coats to reach full opacity. I just did 3 on the clear nail tip just to be on the safe side, but there really was no difference at all. If you're painting your own nails, then no, you only need really 2 coats. But the reason why I picked this green is because of the next polish. It had these beautiful little flakes and it matched perfectly. And the main star of the show, and why I chose the other 3 polishes, was because of this 𝗍𝗶𝗹 by Night Owl Lacquer. This is part of the 𝗏𝗃𝗍𝗔𝗍 2020 fall collection, and it is a grayed out taupe crelly base that has a gold to green shifting crystal chameleon flakes, gold to green and aqua to green crystal flakes, and then a copper shimmer fleck running throughout it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So you can see the orange, you can see this kind of like limey chartreusey kind of color, and you can see that green. So the first stamping plate that I used was Maniology's M262 Garden Shed plate, and honestly, this is a great stamping plate if you have a green thumb, you love gardening, house plants, anything of the sort. I feel like all the background images were really super cute, and you can actually do some great manipulation, which I'm going to show you in this video, how you can work with 2 completely different types of plates, but then make your own type of designs with them. So now we're going to go ahead and prepare our backgrounds. Here I'm using headliner, and I'm going to be using the 𝗿𝗏𝗃 Beauty Resizing Stamper. I do have a video which I will go ahead and I will link down in the description box so that you can see that video, how it works. But basically I resize the image to make this image for my background smaller so that more of it will fit on the nail, because I'm working off of like short tips. And then I'm going to go into another nail, but I'm going to be using Orange Burst. Now I wanted to have it where there was some light subtle difference or a darker tone than the colors that were already presented on the nail. So there was a little bit of a slight contrast, not by much, because I really want the main star of the show to be the ghosts. Once my stamps are completely dry, I can go ahead now and apply the smudge-free top coat. I do a thin layer of it, then I set it to the side to completely dry. And now it is the main stars of our show, the ghosts on plate M315 Paranormal Activities. This is one of those plates I feel like everyone needs in their stamping collection if you love stamping. This plate is so good, honestly, and I hope that Maniology will continue to do these kind of layering effects, but with like skeletons or ghouls or something else of the assortment. So now I'm going to go in with my straight up black for the outlining of my ghost. I'm going to be using my 𝗿𝗏𝗃 stamper for this to shrink the ghost. And here I'm just showing you how I kind of just quickly popped it off. It shrunk the ghost, and now I'm going to remove the excess crap off of it with, or the extra bits with a lint roller, or you can use a piece of Scotch tape. And I'm going to go ahead and fill them in with Bam White, which is also by Maniology. Now I do also want to state, you don't have to go with a stark white coloring. If you don't want your ghosts to look like, you know, they were just just fresh out of the dryer. You know, they had just did their laundry, I guess, you know, and you want a dingier ghost, you can go with coconut, whatever floats your boat. But I went with fresh, clean sheets, I guess. So I went with Bam White and I set it to the side to dry. So now we're going to go ahead and create boots for the ghosts, and here I'm going to go ahead and use the 2-in-1 stamper by Maniology rather than my 𝗬𝘃𝗉𝗃. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill in the boots with Greenhouse, which is this pine colored green. And then once it dries, I'm going to go ahead and put a thin clear nail protector or a clear regular top coat on that to create a decal. Now I'm going to go back in again, but now with my 𝗬𝘃𝗉𝗃 resizing stamper. And this one, I'm going to create the opposite facing direction boot because I'm basically trying to create the illusion that my ghost does not have 2 right feet, 2 left feet, whichever way, but instead he has now thus duck feet, I guess. Now, before I put the stamps down, I'm of course going to put a sticky base coat because remember we had that smudge-free top coat. The decal won't actually stick to that, so you need to put a sticky base coat. So make sure that when you put your sticky base coat down, that it takes about 60 seconds. It should be ever so slightly tacky, and then you can place your stamps down. Do not put them down when they are goopy, otherwise it will not work. And then here you can see I'm just putting in 2 little eyes for my ghost. So now we're going to go ahead and create our gardening ghost. So I'm going to go in with straight up black and then the Bam White to fill in the sheet color. Now I do want to state that I was thinking about this afterward, that I could have added Arabica for like dirt patches because this is my ghost that's going to be out in the garden. Now I didn't do it, but if you want to recreate this and you want to go ahead and give it some dimension where it was out in the garden, it's got a little dirt on it, there you go. You could use Arabica because it's like a light brown. Now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after these veggies, mainly the carrots, the turnip, and then I'm going to go after the rake. And so with this now, I'm going to just basically stamp everything. Of course, everything is getting shrunk down, so I am using 3 different stampers, which is the 𝗬𝘃𝗉𝗃. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in with the orange burst because it's a nice bright orange. The turnip is going to be filled in with headliner for the leaves. And then of course the bottom half, I wanted to kind of give it something a little bit different. So I used orange burst with some headliner and then Arabica for the handle on the rake. Now, once everything was dried and I know I'm going to go ahead and lay everything down, I went ahead in with my sticky base coat, wait the 60 seconds so it becomes ever so slightly tacky, not goopy. And then from there, I could go ahead and add my ghost. I quickly put on the 2 dots for the eyes and then I started layering down the effects for my ghost. So basically in one hand, he'll hold the rake and then the other, he'll hold the 2 vegetables. I first laid down, of course, for the veggies, the carrot because it didn't have the leafy parts on the top. And then after that, I layered crossing over, I guess you could say, the turnip. And the reason why I decided with that is because I like the leafy bits better on the turnip than I did on the carrots. Hopefully that makes sense. So it looks like he's holding a bundle of vegetables, like he's got like his crops he's picked up from the farm. Now we're going to go ahead and create our growing ghoul or ghost, whichever you like to choose. So here I'm going to go ahead and fill in my ghost with Bam White. And then from there, I am going to go after the image, which has, it looks like to be a skull with some flowers like a bouquet. My idea behind this whole theming was the ghouls are growing, but also the flowers. Hopefully that makes sense. Now I am shrinking the image, of course, because it's going to be on a short nail tip. Now I'm going to fill in the skull here with Bam White. The leaves will be in with headliner, and then the flowers themselves, I did a combination of Bam White with orange burst. And this is just to basically give it this creamsicle look, to give it a nice pop, some contrast, and so that it kind of brightens up this nail because it's a lot of green, black, and white. So here I'm going to go ahead and apply my sticky base coat once my reverse stamps are dried. And now I'm going to go ahead and create my background, which is my creepy garden crypt. I don't know what you want to call it, but I went after these trees. I felt like it would be a nice little something to give like this nail, this effect. And so I'm going to go ahead and place these down carefully on the sides. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and place my ghost like in the middle, but at the same time, I don't want to place it directly in the middle. I want to place him down on the bottom. So in that case, then then when I go to layer the grass over the ghost, it looks like it's growing out of the ground. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. It's not that complicated. So now I'm just going to be careful when I go to scrape. When you're going to be using these images where they're a little bit longer, try to make sure that you're also scraping at a 45-degree angle so that it'll actually be easier, and then you won't have any pitting or missing parts of the stamping polish, if that makes any sense. Now here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go backwards with the words. So I'm gonna go after the here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lint roll all the extra stuff that I don't want her. I don't want the love, I don't want the grows, I just want the here. And basically what I want to do is, because the ghost is in the middle with the bouquet, it's kind of a little bit off-centered. So I had to move the here and place it down first. So it's kind of like this, giving this almost like staggered effect. And then I go after the next word, which is grows, but I remove the S. And then I kind of put it towards a little bit closer towards the middle. And then I'll use the paranormal activities plate for the word ghouls. And that's where I like to go backwards. And the reason why I do this is because if I were to go ghouls and go down, I wouldn't know if I had enough room. So I feel like this way, where you go backwards, upward on the nail, you have a better idea for spacing when it comes to doing a word or layering effect, if that makes sense. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pop on 2 little eyeballs, and then this nail is done. Our next ghost is going to be the sunflower ghost. So I thought I wanted to go with this really cute ghost where she has like a bow. So I used greenhouse just to kind of give it like a little bit of a different color tone against the brown. And then you already see I'm filling her in with Bam White. I'll set her to the side so she can completely dry. And then we're going to move on to grabbing these sunflowers on the garden shed plate. Now, when I go to fill it in, I'm going to use Arabica for the inner part, I guess. And then I know like technically sunflowers are yellow, but I didn't use yellow. I used orange burst because, you know, I'm still going off of these colors. Headliners for the leaves, and then of course now I'm going to fill it in with orange burst. And I know sunflowers are yellow, but we're going to pretend that these flowers are like sunflowers, but they're just orange. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. Now I'm going to go ahead and we'll place these stamps to the side to dry. Once they're dried, I can go ahead and apply a very thin layer of sticky base coat, wait these 60 seconds to become slightly tacky, and then I can go ahead and apply my girly ghost to the middle of the nail. And then from there, I'm going to apply the flowers just below her, just so it looks like she's giving the illusion that she's popping up from above the flowers behind them. I thought it was really super cute. From there, I'm going to go ahead and apply my smudge-free top coat to all of the nails. This is going to make sure that there's no smudging or smearing when I go to apply my further nail products like my glitter grabber or my Clearly on Top from KB Shimmer. I'm going to give that about 10 minutes and then I can go in with my glitter grabber. Now, this is very important to use this because it'll help smooth out any type of bumps, ridges, decals, anything of the sort. Wait for that to dry then about 15-20 minutes, and then you can go in with your favorite top coat. Here I'm going to be using the KB Shimmer Clearly on Top. I am truly in love with this stuff now. I love that it doesn't cause any shrinkage or peeling or pitting. It's fantastic. So here I show you that they're nice and glossy and just really pop, so you can see that Night Owl lacquer really popping. And then of course I have to mattify it because you know me, if you've been on my channel, you know I love matte nails. Now for the second design, and I absolutely love this one. So we're gonna go in with Orange Burst first because we are gonna do all of the backgrounds first for these nails. So here I was envisioning a greenhouse effect, but I wanted the orange to be very subtle, not too crazy in your face, just a slight definition because we have plans for that nail. Next, I went in with greenhouse, and this is for over the Night Owl lacquer polish where I felt like it had a slight variation, but really I'm gonna have some words go over this, so I wanted something a little bit different, but I wanted to use like the watering can, the gloves, the trowels, that kind of thing. Now, this has to be one of my favorite nails. This is with Arabica, and I loved the color contrast between this and Trip of a Lifetime. Fantastic. So gorgeous. I love the contrast. It just looks Chef's Kiss. And then the last is for the pinky. This is gonna go over Planted and Enchanted. This is Greenhouse, and I love the potted plants going over it. It's subtle, but you can still see some definition, but it's not too crazy. Now, once everything is dried, then I can go ahead and apply my smudge-free top coat. I'm gonna apply a thin layer of it, and then from there, I'm gonna let them dry. From there, I'm gonna go ahead and get my stamps ready. So here, I'm gonna go after the swing set, and I'm gonna fill it in with Arabica. Now, the vibe I was thinking was putting this where the ghost is swinging in their own little greenhouse, and where I'm going to place this over the orange nail. And I thought like, oh, it could be swinging in the area of the greenhouse. Like it's admiring its own little greenhouse, its potted plants. It's just a vibe. I don't know, maybe thinking I'm crazy, but I thought it was just stinking cute. So here I'm prepping it, getting it ready with the sticky base coat. I'm waiting for it to become slightly tacky. And then I go ahead and start placing my stamps down. And I just love how this looks. Like the ghost looks like it's so happy. It's in its little greenhouse. I just think it was so stinking cute. Anyway, next we're gonna go after this ghost, where I honestly was kind of like, I wanted to use this ghost, but I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to, but I just kind of tilted the ghost in a different angle. And so now here's one thing: when you're prepping, getting ready for words, and you want to stamp all at the same time, make sure that if you have multiple stampers, that you first get your stamps, and then you can easily stamp all at one time, where it's like rapid fire. So here I'm gonna prep my ghost, where I angled it in a different option, which I love. Then I placed down my crazy plant from the garden shed. And then from there, I took the word ghouls from the paranormal activities plate, and I just love the vibe. Crazy plant ghouls, oh, I love it. It's so stinking cute. So definitely 10 out of 10. Then I'm gonna go back in for my little girly ghost, and this time I gave her an orange bow with orange burst. I love the color. Oh, I love the little orange bow. And from here, I'm gonna fill her in, and she's gonna be my little centerpiece for this nail. I thought the orange with the white and the brown and this lime green, chef's kiss. I love it. It's so stinking cute. Oh, she's so adorable. And then the last nail I went in with is going to be this ghost, where he's holding his little potted plant, and I was like, okay, I gotta make sure that I find a potted plant that doesn't cover up his face, and I just thought it'd be so stinking cute. So here I went after this plant. I did shrink down the image so that it would fit in the ghost's, hands, I guess, or appendages, or whatever it is. So here I'm using headliner and then Arabica for the potted part, or at least the pot. And then from there, I let that dry, and then I'm doing the same thing, rinse and repeat. Now here I wanted to be slightly careful where I had my ghost trying to be in the center, but also I wanted to make sure that you can see the potted plant, and I had to be really super careful, but I think it came out great. Now, once everything was dry, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my smudge-free top coat, let it dry, then go ahead and with my glitter grabber, do the same thing again, wait for it to dry about 20 minutes, and then I can go in now with my Clearly on Top. And if you've never tried Clearly on Top before, I highly encourage you to give it a whirl, or at least try it out, because I was a diehard fan of Super Chick Lacquer. However, because they had a problem with the pulling with Super Chick, I decided to switch this over, and I am so glad that I did, because I don't have any of those issues now. And there you have it, the final look. Let me know down below what your favorite design was. Was it design 1, design 2? Are you planning on mixing and matching? This video help you inspire some creativity? Are you feeling like now you can try to combine a regular plate and a spooky plate and make it your own? Honestly, I would love to see more companies try to at least give us the day-to-day mundane things, if you want to call it that, where I would love to see a gardening ghost or skeleton plate, or baking or cooking or camping, or a Western vibe. Honestly, I would love to see more companies try to appeal to more of the spookier audience, because there is a lot of us, and us chicks, we love having our nails done with spooky stuff on them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and such a ramble, but if you did like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and not only that, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, join the Chills crew, and until then, take care and stay chilly.